little bit of an age gap. Right?
A little bit, yes.
So, but I think we've had a lot of good conversations about just dentistry as a whole, how to practice it, how to be considered a good dentist. And I think there were a lot of good conversations, especially as you encounter that very steep learning curve after dental school.
Definitely.
A lot of learning, but what would you say was your biggest challenge from transitioning from dental school to being a dentist?
I think my biggest challenge, and it's still something that is ongoing, is gaining confidence in your decision making. I feel like in dental school we get this very solidified basic toolbox of what we should do if we encounter situation A or B. But if there's a slight deviation, just as there always will be in patient care and anyone that walks into your operatory that's needing your help, my mind tends to catastrophically freak out and not know what to do when it's not a recipe book. So I think it's like unlearning that, yes, we learn these like procedural steps on how to do a class 2, how to cut a crown, but then in the practice of dentistry, it is not a recipe book at all.
It's not.
Yeah, and I think part of it is like learning to give yourself grace that you're not perfect or you're not doing what you thought was the recipe book, I guess, and understanding that there's different ways to get to the path to best serve your patient.
Right. So when you have those moments of panic, do you feel like you're able to shut that off and leave it at work? Or do you feel like you take it home with you?
I pack it up and I 100% take it home with me in my little lunchbox. And it's hard because we will spend our whole days dedicating our energy and our service to other people because that's what we signed up to do in this profession, and also in the military it's always to meet the mission. And then as soon as you get in the car, you get home, I try and forget about the day. I try and like decompartmentalize it, but I'm often left like getting ready for bed and I'm still stressed out about the exact same thing that I was stressed out about at lunch or earlier in the morning.
Yeah. So that stress that you have associated with your job, do you think that started in dental school or when you started to practice as a dentist?
I think it started long before dental school, which is why I feel that having these conversations are so important.
Do you think that stress management was touched at all, like discussed, even just a tiny bit in dental school?
No, I think maybe the closest was like ASDA, American Student Dental Association, is probably like one of the more well-known organized portions of dentistry in dental schools, and they would have like wellness chairs, and we might do yoga in the park once a month or things like that. But aside from that, there is no standardized curriculum for student wellness.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that you're a practicing dentist, sink or swim at this point, right? You're in it. You've already committed to this career. Now you have this associated stress. But you're also lucky enough to be surrounded with a lot of other dentists. Do you think that mental health or just overall wellness in general is something that's discussed a lot among other dentists?
I think that is a really interesting question because I think it's discussed behind closed doors. It's something that me and my girlfriends in dental school will vent to each other about, but we would never verbalize it outside of the comforts of our own safety and friendship, because I feel like to bear the stress of a dentist, it's like you need to make production. You need to execute these cases really well, and from the outside, accomplishing those things is what looks like you are thriving as a dentist. But on the inside, it's like crushing.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
So I think you and I are at least blessed in the fact that we don't have to worry necessarily about production. All of our care that we provide is free. It's at no cost.
Definitely.
I couldn't say that I really fully experience what it's like to be a civilian dentist. I did do a 3-year out-service residency in a civilian residency, so I kind of had a little bit of experience when it comes to adjusting treatment plan for cost reasons, financial reasons. But it wasn't a factor of, will this affect my paycheck,
Right.
right? So I think we're kind of blessed with that, but there's still that stress.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I tell myself, like, oh, I have this experience in the military. I should lean into all of the opportunities of them. One is the ability to practice dentistry without that financial pressure or stress or feeling like you have to do something for a patient because insurance dictates it or the boss dictates it. But then I think maybe a lot of other dentists and dental students can relate to this. I am very competitive with myself. And even though no one is telling me, oh, Lieutenant Zhao, Dr. Zhao, you need to be doing this, 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 like if I see a lot of sick call come in, my mission is to see all of them. And if the choice is between seeing the sick call and having the first sip of water by 11 o'clock or working through lunch, I will put everyone first before my own needs to do that.
Right.
And why? I don't know. There's no financial incentive.
So do you think it's more of a, like your job, your profession itself that's creating a problem, or do you think it's our personality?
I think it's a combination of both. It's like in this environment, the personalities where we feel that we must be achieving at every step of the way or we are not doing our best, that, for me at least, makes me feel like, oh, did I really show up today if I didn't do everything at every minute that I possibly could have done for everyone else?
Right.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself to be an empath?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Highly sensitive individual.
How do you think being an empath affects your day?
I think even outside of dentistry, like in social situations, I tend to, like if I walk into a room, I tend to be very observant and I will often absorb the energy of whatever the environment is. And so I would consider myself like a introverted extrovert where I can muster the energy to socialize and connect with people in the room, and I could also just 100% like sit back, observe, and be very much to myself. And so I think in dentistry, like 10 out of 10 times you get a patient that they're in distress or they're scared of the dentist. They don't want to be there. And then you automatically feel that, you feel all those emotions, you take it in, and you're like, okay, let me overcompensate everything that I could possibly have to overserve you because I want you to have a good experience. Or I believe that I could be the dentist that could turn your negative experiences around for you. And I think that's a great thing that a lot of us want to do.
Absolutely.
But we don't notice how far we will overserve and then forget about ourselves too.
Right. So let's say you have your very first patient in the morning and you're fully charged, you've done your motivational speech and you're like,
I did my 5-minute journal.
Yes. And you walk into the room and the first thing your patient says is, no offense, but I hate the dentist.
Yeah, I just put my head down, I walk right out.
Like how, I know we try not to take it personally. I know in my career I've heard it like a million times already. But if you were 10 out of 10 when you walked in that room, when you hear that phrase, how does that reduce your number?
You definitely still take it personally, but then there's also this part of you that's like, I can change your mind, or like, I can resolve this for you. Because I think a lot of our personalities are like, we're problem solvers. And a lot of the reasons why we go into dentistry is like, we do like immediate gratification. We want to see the results of our hard work and our labor manifest into like a nice product for our patient. And so I think we get fixated on that too.
So you end up even pushing out more energy.
I'm even nicer to the assholes. Can we guess on here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
This is our thing.
Yeah.
We're just doing our thing.
Okay.
So we see, I don't know, maybe 8 patients a day or so?
Yeah.
Even if it's just 2, right? By the end of patient care, having to give more than 100% to those patients. At the end of the day, what is your energy level like?
It's depleted, but it's also like, my husband describes this as like when I come home, I was running on such high cortisol the whole day that I have a hard time volunteering to wind down and shut it off. And so when I come home, even if I go to the gym or I'm making dinner with my husband, I'm just like still really fight or flight, high stress, high reward, like very, very intense in all of my actions. And sometimes it's not even until I fall asleep until the next day that finally kind of calms itself.
Yeah. And how's your sleep?
I'm pretty tired enough. I sleep good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my main concern, and I'm sure there's probably no research out there. What you're describing is not, it's not any different than I think most dentists out there, right? It's definitely, I think I understand what you feel like. It's like you're describing my life right now. My main question is, how long can we keep doing this for?
I don't think it's sustainable, at least the way that I have done just one short year of practice, because I already feel the physiological manifestations of this. And it's kind of hard. We've talked about this before, like the idea of being addicted to stress.
Absolutely.
I can fully acknowledge that, like, oh, I'm stressing myself out. Like, even you're done with work, you don't have to do anything anymore. But I continue to run in this cycle, and it's just because it's something my brain is so used to, even though I can feel it be damaging to my body. Like, I can feel tension in my shoulder, my neck. I can feel my jaw clenching and my masseters be sore. Even with that, I have like difficulty in relinquishing that and finding some relaxation.
Right. So if you saw me, like if you were just a video crew following me around all day, and I did everything that you would do all day, all night, would you tell me to relax and sit down and take a break?
1000%.
So why is it so hard for us to tell ourselves to do that very same thing?
I don't know.
My gosh, somebody help us.
Yeah. And I don't think we are the only ones.
No.
And it's like,
I don't think so.
yeah, and maybe this is a good time to open the question to you and for you to share your story of how long you've been practicing and how you've noticed that this way of practice does not have longevity.
Yeah, so I've been practicing as a dentist for about 11 years now. And go-getter, right? Constantly. To the point where I received my doctorate when I was 24 years old. I had a goal, and I did what it took to get there. I did not want anything to hold me back. I felt like there were variables on my side, against me, whether it's my age, my gender, my race, the fact that I wasn't even raised in America, that could have held me back. So I almost felt like I had to overcompensate for it.
I 100% can relate to that.
In addition to that, I lived with my sister. She was my guardian, who herself was struggling with mental health. I was on my own. I'm thankful to the support of other people who saw me in my, in my struggle to support me. But if I didn't have that drive and that determination, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it was a constant go, go, go. And it wasn't until my second year practicing as a dentist that all of a sudden everything started to hurt. Every single thing. To the point where I would have my normal drive, and it's like I hit a wall. And I just couldn't do anything anymore. My body just shut down.
Yeah.
And it took about maybe like a good year or so for me to actually get diagnosed. The diagnosis was chronic pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, in addition to endometriosis.
And so for anyone listening that's not familiar, can you describe chronic pain and fibromyalgia?
It's it's linked to basically being addicted to stress, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's more so women who tend to be type A personality. And it's just to the point where you've stressed your body so much that it starts to shut down. The crazy thing is that we're seeing more of these conditions popping up left and right, mostly in the United States.
Yeah, because of our work culture. Yeah, the hustle and the grind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that you shouldn't have a drive, you shouldn't have determination, that you shouldn't do what it takes to get your goal, but it's balance. And I would love to look at you today and say, I have found balance.
Yeah.
I haven't. But I'm happy that I'm able to at least identify it.
Yes. That's a small win.
That's a small win.
Yeah, and we have to take that and celebrate
We
it.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
We do.
But it's about progress.
Yeah.
I don't have, GPS directions. I don't have a map. I don't have.
You did.
I wish I did. I don't even know where my destination is. Like, I have no idea what it is to be at peace. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But my purpose every single day is to do at least one thing that would take me closer to that. We don't know who we want to be when we grow up. And there are certain things that we do thinking that that's the direction we want to head. And if we try and fight the universe and say, no, this was meant to be, that was what's supposed to happen, right? You're just stressing yourself out for no reason. You become so angry, you've clouded your vision, and you don't really see what is lined up for you. You're so busy trying to break open that one door that's closed
That you are fixated on.
that you don't turn around to see that door's right there open for you.
Yeah.
It's right there. You just have to calm down, take a deep breath, look around,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, that was the door that was meant for me.
Have you heard the phrase, rejection is redirection?
Yes.
I try to write that down sometimes to make myself believe it.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's okay. I don't know what's in the future.
Yes.
This soul-crushing failure right now is not the end.
Yes.
And I need to rewrite it in my brain.
Yeah. 100%. Life is like taking a road trip, and we have no idea what the destination is.
And we don't have the map.
We don't have a map. But sometimes you're down going this way, and then all of a sudden there's a roadblock. Could you just sit there and just like try to figure out how to cross, or look for a detour?
Yeah.
Maybe you take a U-turn. Maybe you have to travel backwards for a bit.
Yeah.
But it's all about just making progress, and the most important thing is just enjoying the process. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process every single day, and you'd be pleasantly surprised with how your mindset will shift into a more positive one.
Yeah.
But with that, we have to practice self-love. The same way that we see our patients, the same way when they look us in our face and say, I hate the dentist.
Yeah.
And we show them even extra grace because we don't want them to feel afraid. We need to offer our own selves that amount of grace.
Yeah. And that is a personal goal of mine, and I realize it's so hard to achieve because I've never done it in my life before. I'm just always, like, the path to dental school and becoming a dentist, it's laid out for you.
Yes.
You have to suffer and hit these obstacles and landmarks, and then you will get there. And if you feel like you are burnt out or that you're not really taking care of yourself, you're like, I just need to make it to this next stretch.
Yes.
I need to pass the boards. I need to get this GPA. I need to apply to residency.
Yes.
And then because everything is so merit-based and it's just the next leap, you just stretch yourself a little bit more thin and a little bit more thin until you reach it. And then you're like, wait, I don't have that big pot of gold of happiness that I was promised when I became a licensed dentist. What am I going to do now? And I think that's why these conversations are so important, because we have to find that gratitude, that love, and that kindness within ourselves, because we give it to everyone, but we have to ensure that at least we're giving it to ourselves.
100%. So it's like, it's not waiting to get to the end of the rainbow to get your pot of gold,
Yeah.
but collecting your coins.
Pick it up.
Pick them up.
Every day, pick a little bit up.
Yes, pick a little bit up. And then eventually you will get to the point where you're like,
I'm full. I'm already full
yes,
in the journey itself.
yes.
Yeah.
That would not be great. Well, we can get there.
That's the goal.
Yes, we can get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first step is one, identifying us talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
rallying up with other people in the community to let them know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Like what they're experiencing isn't unique to them. We can find ways that we can support each other, share ideas and what worked for us, or just be a support system,
Yeah.
for each other. Because I felt like for the longest, I was suffering in silence.
Mm-hmm. And I think everyone just agrees to suffer in silence.
Why?
It's crazy, right?
Isn't it better to suffer together?
Yeah. It would be, and then we could all figure it out.
We can figure it out.
It's multiple lived experiences together.
Yes. So I think that's what we're kind of hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I know I started a redirection on my page. Like my Instagram page was mostly about teaching dentistry, and I started up the page to help educate dental students because that was throughout my residency. I was teaching dental students, and I thought, COVID and all this stuff, that was the perfect way for me to show how to do some dentistry, share some tips and whatnot. But I changed my subject of my page to cover more wellness. And it's because of two reasons. One, because of my patients. Oftentimes, again, because I'm not like fee for service, right? We're in the military. When my patients sit down in my chair, I can ask them, are you doing okay today? I can spend that time with them and actually have a meaningful discussion.
Yeah.
And there's so many times where I'm like the only person that they've talked to. I've had so many people break down in my chair and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm crying here. Like, I can't believe we're having a therapy session. Yes. And she's like, thank you so much for talking to me. I was having such a hard time. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know. And it's just like, I'm not giving any advice. I'm barely saying anything.
Yeah. But you are listening.
I'm just listening.
That is the key.
I realized in patients that those were doing a good job with their oral hygiene. When they would come back to see me, all of a sudden, muck mouth, and I would ask them, hey, what's going on? They're struggling mentally. I strongly believe that the first thing to go, one of the first things, is oral care.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see it in like young sailors that go on deployments and come back with like rampant high caries because all they did was stand duty, chug monsters, eat whatever they could get their hands on.
That is the first sign of somebody struggling mentally. We are the first line of defense.
Yeah.
So I can sit here all day and tell a patient to floss your teeth. But if I don't address the underlying issue, which is mental health, then I'm not going to get anywhere. So when it comes to self-care and wellness, oral care falls below that.
Right.
And I can't get somebody who's mentally unwell to care about their teeth.
And then no matter how good our dentistry is,
it won't last.
Our best efforts won't. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It won't last. So you get somebody who's like, all right, they're taking care of themselves. They will take better care of their mouths. They'll take better care of their teeth. So that's one fold, is one for my patients, but then also for us as well. Us as providers, us as healthcare workers, anyone who's in the business of taking care of other people, we have to learn to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
That is how we can recharge our batteries, and so that we can even take better care of other people. That's how we can do it.
Yeah.
We've sacrificed so much. We've spent so many years to get to where we are now. We don't know how to turn it off.
Right.
That drive, that determination, that survival, need to get to where we need to. We need to be able to say, we are safe, we can relax. You can rest.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, I totally get it. It's hard. And I think especially in dentistry, I know I experienced that when I was deployed. Sometimes medical, like, they can take a break because they've seen all their patients. But with dental, I swear, there's always something. There's always something you can do.
Yeah. You're
right?
never done.
You're never done.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So part of self-care is knowing what your boundaries are so that you can take proper care of yourself.
Yeah.
That means saying no.
Which is very hard for the people-pleasing industry of dentistry.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect segue into boundaries. Because I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be able to fix it overnight, even though if my brain could control everything, I'd already have the solution in a handbook.
Yes.
But I was like, I'm going to start with really, really actionable tasks that allow me to be kinder to myself each day.
Yes.
And if I can just achieve these over the span of a year, let me see how my mindset changes.
Yeah.
And those boundaries, and I feel like when people hear this, they're going to laugh because they think that they are so elementary. But I think the dentists in the room will get it. I try to make myself not work through lunch, give myself that 30 minutes or 1 hour, like anything that is an emergency can wait.
Yes.
I want myself to drink my water bottle throughout the day and to allow myself to go to the bathroom when I need to.
Go pee.
Yeah, and if that means, I used to think like, I don't want to don and doff my PPE and I don't want to take it off. So I'm just going to work through the next 90 minutes and I'll hold it. And I get so stressed that I even forget that I needed to go to the bathroom in the first place. And then, after I'm not drinking any water anyways, and then I'm not eating lunch. So I'm like, this is madness and it's not sustainable. So let me at least do these 3 things to honor myself in my workday.
Yes. 100%.
And it's comedic, but I've been trying to hold myself accountable to doing those 3 things.
Yeah. So I'm in education, and I think it's starting to, I think towards the end of the year, my residents thought it was quite funny that they would approach me and they'll say, oh, Dr. Cage, I have this problem. And instead of being the helpful person of, oh, this is what you need to do, give you everything laid out nicely, I will ask them, what do you think?
I hate it when you do that.
I'm sorry.
I literally hate it when you do that. Because I'm coming to you in such a time of distress and I just want you to hold my hand and make it better.
I know. But did you learn?
Yeah, through much more struggle.
Do you think you would have learned more if I gave you everything that you needed?
I think there is the emotional support that I want immediately in that moment, and then there's the actual tactile, logical problem solving part.
Yes.
And then I think that if I'm handheld, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fine.
Yes.
Watch and learn.
Yeah.
And then if I am challenged to troubleshoot on my own, I understand that it's a good thing, but the emotional part of me never calms down.
Yes.
And so even with my best critical thinking, I think my work is still not where I'd like it to be because my emotions are at such a high.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking the patient can notice that I'm stressed.
Yeah.
My assistant's like, what's this doc doing? Come on. And I just want everything to go away.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's your need to make sure that the patient gets good care. But if I came and I did it for you, your emotional state would be happy.
Yes.
Because you feel that my skills would have given you what you wanted.
For the patient.
For the patient.
Yes.
But you would never grow or start to feel confident in your own skills.
That is correct. The only thing that I would gain is my ability to know when I need help.
Yes.
But it does not give
but
me
you
the
know
confidence.
when you need help because
Yeah,
you came to ask for it.
Yeah, I already knew that part.
Right?
You're right. Yeah, but it doesn't help me gain the confidence to execute whatever needs to be done.
And that's what I need for you to do. Is for you to be more independent in your own clinical skills.
Yes.
Right? So that at the end of the day, you can then turn around and mentor somebody else. Perfection.
And excellence in myself. And it is, I can be fully aware that it is an unrealistic expectation. But then I'm like, but I want the best for the patient.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about that you want perfection, I immediately go to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
When we see pages like Style Italiano,
Mm-hmm.
how long do you think those people have been practicing for?
Longer than I've probably been alive.
You calling them old?
I'm calling them seasoned.
Seasoned. Yes.
Seasoned.
Yes. But they've been practicing for a while.
Yeah.
Are they showing you their failures?
No, you only see the best.
Only the best.
Yeah.
How much time do you think they even invest making sure that those cases were to that level of perfection to be able to display it on Instagram?
A lot.
A lot, right? They've done years of training, years of practice, most importantly.
They know exactly what case selection
Yes.
to choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they only post their best pictures.
Yeah.
Is that a fair comparison?
No. Much like anything in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to, when we see those posts, to be able to differentiate between the two. That's why I always recommend to first-year dentists, even in dental school, for you to start to document your cases so you can see your own progress. And so you can say, oh, wow, yeah, absolutely. Even throughout my career, I see my progress, and I'm very happy in that. Comparison is a very bad thing.
The thief of joy.
Yes. Your saying sounds a lot. But it is.
Yeah.
It is, right? So I think we just need to try our best to not even keep it to ourselves with what we're doing, even with how we support each other, but to maybe form a community with other people who are in this business of taking care of other people, who are hard, just incredibly hard on themselves, who think that self-care is selfish, when in reality it's the exact opposite, right? So if we can form a community of people who support each other, I think we'll find a lot of joy in that.
Yeah. And that'd be the best thing, is like finding joy in the practice of it all, and then waking up and being happy and excited to be a dentist and the work that we get to do. Because I think it is a really special responsibility and opportunity that we uphold for our community.
I think it is too. But if we don't start to change the way that we do and think about things, we will experience burnout.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we end up almost harming the very patients that we vowed to help.
And to protect, yeah.
The first step is identification. And for your first year in, I mean, you're ahead of the curve, at least for me. It took me years.
Yeah.
And I know our goal is to make sure that other people don't feel the same way that we do.
Yeah.
You know?
I think one major reflection that I have with 1 year of practice is that through all of the education of like high school, college, dental school, you are working so hard and you are so fixated on one goal that I never even took the time to think about these things in myself, understand why like I was brought up a certain way and that's why I'm always on survival mode. And so it is a really interesting time in my life. At age 26, whatever, doesn't matter what time that it's happening, but to invest in yourself and learn that we are humans, and that even though we're in the business of taking care of other people, that it is important to take care of ourselves. Right. And that's why when you shared your story with me, I think it really resonated, because I see so many like similarities in the way that we care for people, and also in the way that we sometimes do not care for ourselves.
Yes.
And so I think the storytelling and the sharing of experiences, it will just perpetuate a more positive message in dentistry and in healthcare.
Yes.
And I hope that it inspires people to not feel bad in taking a moment to breathe, to do that one activity for yourself in the day, because we deserve to have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our little pockets of peace, we should be practicing them every day.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So there is no age limit, right?
Or minimum.
It's never too early, it's never too late
Yeah.
to start to identify those things and to start practicing self-care.
Yeah. And on my Instagram page, the main audience is like college students and high school students that their bodies are so young and healthy, they don't even know what's going to hit them.
Yeah.
And they're just willing to sacrifice anything and everything to get to their goal. And while we are supportive of people and helping them apply to dental school, medical school, etc., I really want to push the message to do it with kindness. And that being planned and prepared, it helps you, but also just doing a little bit each day and being proud of yourself.
Yes.
Celebrating if you get an interview, even if it's not the one that you want, and going through that whole journey and process. Like, you will just always learn about yourself.
Absolutely. Jeez, it's hard. It's tough. Life is it can be very tough.
Yeah. And it's hard because dental school and being in dentistry, it's not designed for us to be kind to ourselves. It's designed to utilize every ounce of your energy to make production, to do these treatments, to be a business owner, whatever it may be, to lead in the military. And it's not created in mind to balance your own life.
No. But this is one of the things where we have to say, it's my life. And if I don't take the actions or the steps that I need to feel fulfilled in my life or to feel joy, no one else is going to do it for you. So if I don't take that step, no one else will.
Yeah.
It's your life, your responsibility to make it a happy one.
And these are the best years of our lives.
Yes.
Like, we are never more able or healthy than we are in our 20s and our 30s. So that's why I'm like, wow, we really should be nicer to ourselves.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should allow ourselves to exercise, and not because you feel pressure to or you want to achieve a certain physique. It's for your true health and wellness.
Yeah. And then for me, it's more so you've done it. I mean, you beat yourself up for years, and now you're feeling the consequences of that. Should I just say, well, that's it, I'll just lay down and this is it, guys? You know, it's more like, okay, like, no more. I can still find a way.
You can rewrite the path 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I can still find joy, find purpose in what I do every day. Not only just for my family, but for myself as well. I don't know how long I will live for. I don't know. But if I'm not happy today, then what is the point of doing all of the things that I did? What is the point? Constantly thinking that I'm going to make it to this one place where I'll be finally happy. I don't know if I'll get there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a target that constantly moves too. Like, when I graduate from high school, I'll be happy. When I get into dental school, I'll be happy. Once I become a dentist, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Once I specialize, then I'll be happy.
Then finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I buy a house, when I have a baby. I mean, it constantly just changes. Instead of saying no, I'll be happy today
Yeah.
with what I have. Yes, you can have goals. Yes, you can have dreams. But I'm happy with where I am now. It's hard. But with practice, just like in dentistry,
Yes.
you'll get there.
I roll.
Bombastic.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We will.
We will. So I think this was a great conversation.
The first of many.
First of many.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great for us to have more of these discussions. If you have any comments, if you felt like anything that we said resonated with you, we would love for you to comment below and let us know about what you think, and we'll discuss about it in our next meetups
If you have a boundary that you want to share that's been working for you, please
Yes.
drop it in the comments. I
Help
would love
us.
to try it.
Help us.
Yeah.
Let's form a community, guys. Let's see how we can support each other. We all love what we do. Well, whether you're a dentist, a nurse, CNA, whatever it is that you do, if we can form a community to help support each other and how to keep caring for each other without experiencing burnout, I think we'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See you
All right.
next time.
We'll see you guys the next time.